Do you want to enter my Giants deadline pool?
Let's do it.
Okay, what minute do you think the deal comes down?
Well,
how many deals?
Let's do a multi-prong because I'm going to say 0 deals.
Okay, you say no deals.
Deal or no deal?
No deal.
I'm almost as bald as Howie. He keeps it clean, though. I'm going to say no deal. But if there is a deal...
They'll do something. If
there is a deal, when does it come down? Like, when do we see the first tweet?
Remember...
The first Heyman, the first Verducci, the first pass it's been...
Hopefully it's not from Heyman, because then we'll be like, he got another misspelling out there today. He sent someone...
I thought that was Nightingale.
No, he sent someone to the Padres, but he spelled it like the Warjays or something. Like, what did he say? How did he spell Padres? He had 2 letters messed up. So that's where Arson Judge can play next year.
You realize that 29 teams in Major League Baseball have made a trade ahead of the deadline. Do you know who the only team that has not made a deal? Do you know who that team is?
Ooh, that's a fun one. Let me look. Who's the only team that has not made a deal as of yet? I would say that team is...
I just gave it to you, but you weren't looking. I gave you...
Is it the Yankees?
I did this.
Yeah, I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I saw it out of the corner of my eye. Why is he dancing?
That according to Joel Sherman.
Ow!
That player is dealt.
They really traded me.
Gone.
No,
but still here.
I don't know why this is popping into my head. Probably because we're not supposed to say this stuff on air, but whatever. You're all our friends.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, we break at 2:55, right? So it'll be 2:56.
Never tip off the brakes.
2:56. I'll take 2:56.
I will take the over on later than that. If he does a deal, it'll be like 2:58 and change.
Well, remember, you can get the announcement. They just need to get their paperwork in by 3. Deals do get announced sometimes at like 3:07 or 3:11. That could happen. So, all right.
This is the only time that the fax machine is still a thing. You got to fax in that paper.
Austin Hedges goes from the Pirates to the, we're acquiring everybody. Lots of trades. So, the Rangers get Austin Hedges, but he can't hit whatever. The Giants are fine at catcher. There was a tweet from J.P. Morosi just about an hour and a half ago.
Oh, that's a great question, Dan. He leads the nation, by the way. If you ever listen to him on any, I heard him on, he was on, I think, Jim Rome a couple weeks ago. Oh, that's a great question, Jim. Wrecked that question.
But JP said Joey Bart's name getting tossed around a little bit, which makes sense. It makes sense. If you're going to do it, he hit the ball really well in July with the Cats, and Patrick Bailey has solidified himself. So if you're going to do it, now's the time. No?
Sell it. I love you trying to sell Joey Bart now.
No, that's all I'm saying.
We went through his hit the ball really well in July premise.
OPS was over 800.
He had about a 3-week period where he hit the ball really well. And then after that...
Yep. It went from June 24th to July 19th.
Right.
His average went from 170 to 250.
And over the past...
He was on a smoker.
Past 2 weeks, his average is back down to 220.
Yeah, he's had a few bad games.
According to John Heyman, and this is bad news for me, who wants chaos, Twins looking at righty bats, Pham, a possibility.
Oh, yeah. No, Pham got dealt. He got dealt.
To Minnesota?
No.
Oh,
we just don't know yet.
Okay.
We just got the report that he turned around and walked out of the manager's office and left the stadium.
Maybe he's taking a sick day, personal day.
Either the manager refused his trade in a fantasy football league or he just got traded. One of those two things just happened. Something will happen. Something will happen. My prediction is something will happen and the Giants fans won't like it. That's my prediction at 256.
Yeah, well, what is still out there that they would like, other than Eduardo Rodriguez? Other than Eduardo Rodriguez, is there a plausible trade target that they could acquire that would make Giants fans happy?
They were linked to Teoscar Hernandez from the Mariners yesterday. That's a big bat. That's an all-star.
Okay,
wouldn't you like that?
I thought I saw him.
Would you like that one?
Maybe he didn't get traded. Maybe it was a rumor. I saw Teoscar Hernandez.
Teoscar Hernandez this year has 16 home runs. But yeah, if you look at him the last few years, 25 last year, 32 the year before that, 4 times in his career he's gone north of 20 home runs. He's a stick. And the Giants were poking around there.
Yeah, Blue Jays reportedly front runner to land him, according to sources.
Well, they had
Philly's interested.
Yeah, oh, sure. No, he's a 30-year-old who's still swinging it. He was an all-star a couple of years ago, Silver Slugger, 2-time winner. Like, that's a good player. That's a name. I'd be super excited by that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, anything at this point.
I don't think they're getting either of these guys.
Right. So, and we're sitting here with 21 minutes to go now until the trade deadline is over. And other than those 2 names, is he going to make a classic Farhan back end of the roster move? Because that to me is the most likely thing.
Yeah, he'll do something, and it's because this is his time. Like, it's 2:40, so this is Farhan time. This is when he likes to operate. But I do think that there's something to be said for what Evan Giddings was saying on the air yesterday. You sort of almost owe it to your team. You win 58 games by this point in the year. You kind of owe it to your team to be like, here you go. We think you can win the World Series. Now, you can't do it at any expense. You can't do that and say, well, the only way to do that is to give up Marco Luciano. Like, you can't be stupid. And they won't. They won't blink. And that actually comforts me as a Giants fan. I don't think right now is the right time for them to be giving up anybody in their top 5 prospect list. Half of them are on the team.
Exactly.
So, like, I don't think this is the time for that. Unless it's just an absolute hammer. You know what I mean? Which I don't think is out there right around now. But I think you got to make your clubhouse arrive to the yard, especially after that loss last night. You're in the midst of a big series. They got to get to the yard tonight. They're already there, actually. And they got to get word that, hey, we believe in you. Go win the World Series. There is absolutely something to be said for that, don't you think?
Sure, but you don't want to part with anyone on the Major League club because you do have such a great clubhouse, and you don't necessarily want to part with any of your top prospects. So how do you go about doing that to get even a Teoscar Hernandez, somebody who's a ready-made, in your lineup Major League player? I don't know if you want to part with the capital. And you were mentioning this yesterday and again today, Mark, in terms of the prospect load that it's taking. You got teams giving up 2 of their top 5. A couple of teams have given up their top 2 prospects for, players who are either rentals or guys who are just going to be here for a couple of years, and that's not what Farhan's looking to do.
No, the Angels deals have been wild. Absolutely wild, especially because of the backdrop, which is Shohei Ohtani. And they're trying to show, hey, that we can win with you right now. Stay here because we can win. And so that's what they're trying to do. Speaking of Shohei Ohtani, the silence around the Giants has not just been noticed here. It's been noticed everywhere. Listen to the back and forth that includes Harold Reynolds. He's the responder. Who's the lead broadcaster again?
Greg Amsinger.
Okay, Greg Amsinger is on MLB Network, and they're talking about, hey, Giants, is anybody home?
What about the San Francisco Giants? We just don't mention them. They're within striking distance.
Well, they got A.J. Pollock.
I mean, I know they got A.J. Pollock, but is that a game-changing bat? They're just kind of sitting around doing nothing.
I still think what we entered the trade season talking about Shohei Ohtani, and the Angels said we're not moving him. They may not move him today, but there will be no choice this winter. And I do believe the Giants, for example, have a ton of money that they did not spend. They tried to get Judge. They tried to get Correa. And I'm telling you right now, they are lined up to try to go get Shohei Ohtani. I believe some moves are not made today for the money that we're going to have moving forward. That's in their plans.
So a lack of movement today.
I think he affects the winter right now.
All right, did a plane go over MLB Network headquarters toward the end of that conversation is question number 1.
They went to a live shot of Shohei warming up in a bullpen.
Got it, okay. Do you accept that? Giants are quiet now because they're saving dollars for Shohei Ohtani.
It's a premise, but I'm not buying it. I mean, I might buy it in terms of Justin Verlander, who's on the hook for a big number next year and then a player option if he hits a certain number of innings pitched for 2025. That's the kind of deal Farhan Zaidi wants to avoid like the plague. Now, you mentioned Erod, Eduardo Rodriguez, his contract is also of somewhat of a significant term, right? It's a player opt-in for 3 more years.
So this is a little bit why Rodon didn't go last year, for example. Eduardo Rodriguez's contract, the reason teams, and this is one of the
16 minutes.
Thank you.
Had to update you.
This is one of those things that gets a little complicated at trade deadline because the player ends up with the full advantage. He's got an opt-out at the end of this year, but he can opt in, and it's not for 1 year. It's for 3. It's 3 more years. Now, it's not incredibly expensive, $18 million, $16 million, $15 million. If he opts in, you'd think, though, with the way he's pitching, one of two things happens. He's pitching well enough to opt out. So if he comes and does well, bye-bye.
Sure.
If he comes and he gets hurt or pitches poorly, he opts in. And now you have somebody who's hurt, guaranteed 3 more years.
Already you're looking at DeSclafani's at 12 for next year, Manaea's at 15, and Strip Doggy Dog's at 15.
We're not giving up on Manaea and Stripling yet, right?
All I'm saying is you've got $42 million right now invested in please don't pitch. You're pitching all right, and hey, maybe you're back to being strippy.
Yeah, DeSclafani, if need be, again, they've got all this money. They can swallow that. They can.
Right, but in terms of what Harold Reynolds is saying about them setting up the books for Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, $12 million, whatever. You know what I mean?
But it's 42 if you add up all 3 of those pitchers together.
But what I'm saying is I think that in this moment, with what Stripling and Manaea have done recently, they're probably okay with that, or at least they have optimism surrounding it.
Yeah.
DeSclafani, who Farhan said yesterday may well be out for the year, and I hated the feeling that went through my body because I was like,
it was joy, wasn't it?
Good. Please don't throw that guy anymore. It doesn't work in baseball games. You can pitch him in the bullpen. That's fine. Don't put him in the game. So
that's hurtful.
I'm sorry. It's where it is. But they did it with La Stella. Just eat it. Weird Al, eat it. I'm going to eat it. Thank you. Just eat it. And if they need to do that, that's fine. So I don't worry too much about that. But yeah, these are financial considerations. If you're looking at it now, I don't fully buy what Harold Reynolds is saying as an excuse. That does not mean, in my mind, that the Giants can just do nothing and sell that. I don't think that, because quite frankly, acquiring Eduardo Rodriguez does not limit you in the Shohei Ohtani conversations. Just because you took on $15 million more in salary means you can't offer him $600 million. Sure you can. Yes, you can. So I don't necessarily buy that. What I buy, though, is that it's a seller's market. It's a seller's market, and my read right now is Farhan's not terribly interested in playing that game. And that is, like usual with the Giants, probably pretty smart and probably pretty uninteresting.
And a little frustrating for a fan base that looks at this team and says, okay, we've got action. Right now you're the leader in the wild card race, but if you look around the National League and certainly all across baseball, you'd be hard-pressed to say, oh, we're the best team. We're going to be the favorites to win the whole thing. But if you're one of 12 teams to make the playoffs, you've got a shot. So it's frustrating as a fan to look at the team that you have now and think about October and bring this exact same team into October, even if you get Haniger healthy and Conforto's ready to go and you get Tyro Estrada back and all of your pieces that have been up and down and injured and not injured. If you have your full complement, you're still probably not that confident as a fan that you can win the whole thing.
12 and a half minutes.
Yeah. I don't like your chances.
You don't like my 256?
I don't like your trade or deal or no deal, because I'm on no deal, and I believe you were on deal. You didn't really definitively say.
Let me just say this.
Say whatever you want.
Forget the Giants for a second. I believe there are double-digit players who are going to be dealt in the next 12 minutes. There are so many players that, in effect, need to be dealt. They're just coming down to the wire. You know, for instance, my guess is Tommy Pham's already been dealt. We just don't know yet. It hasn't hit Twitter yet. But these trades are coming. It always happens up against the line. I remember This day 2 years ago, I told you yesterday, I sat in Golf Mart, there with my son. We were looking at shoes and bags. And he was over there hitting balls up against the mat.
It was a bag alert.
It was a major bag alert. And I was almost going to make a purchase to settle my frustration with the fact that the Giants, with the best record in baseball, weren't getting aggressive and going after the World Series. But there was another piece of me that looked at my phone and I went, oh, it's coming. Just count down. 3, 2,
What, 11 minutes
1,
right now.
And then bang.
95.7 The Game breaking news.
Crazy how you did that.
Do you know, or would you like me to tell you?
I don't know.
Tommy Pham is on his way to the NL West. This comes from Jeff Passan and Andy Martino.
Come on, baby, come on.
He's also coming to a team playing currently at Oracle Park.
Oh, come to daddy.
Tommy Pham to the Arizona Diamondbacks.
You had to steal Lucas's thunder. He built that up so nicely.
Like there was really a whole lot of mystery. Really, you thought there was a possibility
it
he
was
coming
down
to Giants?
to a 50-50.
There's no chance.
You joke-blocking SOB. Lucas, I got your back. That was wrong.
I appreciate that.
Because I saw it right when
It really wasn't a joke. It was just building up to the delivery of news.
And he was about to deliver it.
Yeah,
he was about to deliver the baby, and you tapped him on the shoulder.
Let's try it again, Lucas.
And you cut the cord.
What was the joke? Let's see if it would have made us laugh. What was the joke?
The Mets have traded Tommy Pham to the Diamondbacks.
Lucas Giolito.
Oh, gosh.
You know what was cool?
What's up, fam?
You did your countdown from 3, 2, and 1, and then Grandy hit the sounder.
We thought
that was
you
awesome.
were joking. We were like, okay, is this part of the bit?
We learned that we never joke with the breaking news sound.
We had the news about a minute ago, and then I just trying to find the right moment to sneak it in there, and you counted me down. I was like, well, might as well just fire it off.
I told you that he had already been dealt. The guy left the manager's office in his jeans. I told you
but now he's
been
coming
traded.
to San Francisco.
I told you he was on his way to San Francisco.
And if I know Dibs, tomorrow's topic is Giants need to dot Tommy Pham. Tomorrow night, the first time he comes up, and if they miss him, they need to dot him again in at bat number 2. And in fact, even if they hit him, they need to dot him again.
Kill him again. I'll tell you what, if they don't dot Tommy Pham,
dot him.
They don't have Jock's back. If they don't dot Tommy Pham, they are not a tight-knit clubhouse.
They couldn't carry his Jock? What'd you say?
Basically, they won't carry his Jock.
All right.
Peterson. If they don't dot him, we take the high road here in San Francisco. I'm taking Tommy out for a burger.
Come on.
95.7 The Game.
Oh, come on.
Breaking news.
Come on.
Talk to me.
Come on.
We have a starting pitcher going to the black and orange. The Baltimore Orioles.
See what he's doing? He's awesome.
Finalizing a trade for right-hander Jack Flaherty from the St. Louis Cardinals.
Are you just refreshing passing, or are you like on main Twitter?
I got noties on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's a 4 for your setup, and Mark, you get a 2 for actually letting him finish.
Yep.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
There's a starting
That's
pitcher
not what I
going
do
in a
here.
black and orange. No, you don't.
I'm not a big let people finish guy.
Yeah.
That's not my deal.
Whoa.
Ken Rosenthal reporting that the Orioles are close to signing Jack Flaherty.
Take it easy. No, it's done.
I was in need of a closer.
Jeremy Rodriguez is who the Diamondbacks are sending back to the Mets for Tommy Pham.
Who are you?
Exactly, if anybody cares about that.
J-Rod.
So does that mean that Jock and Tommy are going to meet in left field tomorrow night before the game?
They should. And
Tommy's in a mood. We already know that.
I wonder who.
Why are you always in a mood?
Who the commissioner of that fantasy football league is, and if they're still in the same league together.
It's probably Boach.
Yeah.
You're picking 11th.
He's a competitor.